So, Douglas, one of the things that came out in your speech was the idea that although we say we're all in the same boat at these conferences, in truth, we're not all in the same boat.
No, clearly not. It's a very competitive market, and the only thing that each owner is interested in is his own business and how well that business is doing. It's very laudable that we do talk as one, but as soon as we get out of this environment, we're fighting tooth and nail for the business. It's as simple as that, and that's the same everywhere.
You're also quite clear that there are a number of companies obviously in a hole, but rather than following that proverbial advice of stop digging, they're still digging.
Well, as long as they have vessels that aren't working, they are digging in as much that they're accruing liabilities and costs, and that is only going one way. It's getting bigger, and conventional wisdom says you try and reduce these costs, and what we've heard through the course of the last day and a half is that you should be actively trying to do that, but it's very, very difficult.
Now, a marginal uptick in the market will encourage owners to look at reactivation, and you drew a very important distinction. There's reactivating a vessel technically, which is one thing, but reactivating its reputation is something altogether different.
Yeah. No, in the past we've had vessels that have been recovered from banks, and one of the things they have asked us is to try and maintain the reputation of the vessel. And to do that, you actually have to keep a history of what you've done to the vessel over a certain period. And inevitably you try and keep them in warm lay-up, because as soon as you say cold lay-up, it's like the kiss of death to a charterer.
So let's talk pounds, shillings and pence, and I can think no one better placed to do it than yourself. If you were forced to spend in the order of £300,000 on a vessel, what would, to your mind, give it the best chance of increased utilisation?
Yeah, as I say, for me, I would take a half-finished hull. I would take that 300,000 and outfit it to the highest spec possible, and probably then go to someone like Tidewater and do a lease deal. Then I'd go to the bank and say I've done a lease deal and get the rest of the money to finish the vessel.
Another thing that is concentrating the minds of owners and operators in our sector are the additional costs associated with cleaning and recycling over and above scrapping of an OSV to meet Hong Kong Convention requirements. Any views on that?
Yeah, well, clearly it's something that a lot of people are not clear on, that nowadays a vessel has to be cleaned by the owner, the last owner of that vessel. And unfortunately, the history of that vessel is not always clear to the last owner. So there's a lot of work finding out what's on board and how to dispose of it. And obviously, when you're talking about older vessels, you've also got to talk about asbestos. And if there is asbestos on board, then you're talking about a considerable sum to clean that before it goes to recycling.
In your comments, you mentioned IRM as an option for some DP2 vessels, but of course requirements in this area will demand SPS class and also suitable accommodation for third-party personnel. Not many of the standard PSVs offer much additional accommodation to marine.
No, I 100% agree with that comment, but why I'm mentioning the IRM market, because it is a market that's possibly going to tighten quite considerably in the next 2 to 3 years in that space before I believe the rest of the market will catch up. So if there are opportunities, then that's probably where they are. Whether it's practical, whether it's economic to outfit your vessel for a specific project, that is a project by project discussion.
Right now, what's keeping you busy in the OSV space?
The IRM market. We have seen an uptick in that space. We've seen the vessels working 12 months. Normally you would have a winter break. The vessels haven't broken for winter. They've kept going. The forward contracts are taking us well past the summer. So the rates are not wonderful, but it's cash flow, and that is, has been explained all through the last day and a half, is vital.
And finally, you're a long-term supporter of this conference series. How have you found the 2019 event?
Yeah, look, it's a wonderful networking event. It's nice to come and see old friends. It's nice to meet new people. And it's also nice to see the younger people coming through and hear what their ideas are for the future, because quite frankly, old war horses like me, we're running out of ideas.
Beg to differ, but for now, Douglas Ang, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.